Rolling here. Apologize for that. That's never happened. Okay, everything's on.
Thank you very much, and we apologize having a little bit of connection issues there that we've now resolved. Thank you, Fiscal Officer Brian, for doing that. If you'll stand, we're going to do the pledge in a short motion. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we thank you so much for the beautiful rain that you sent to us today. And even though we had some storms with it, our ground really needed the water. We pray that you be with our employees, our fire and EMS, our road crew, our zoning as they work to help our township improve. Be with us as we make decisions tonight for the betterment of our community. Amen. So welcome everyone, a little bit late, but we are here. If you had a chance to look at the agenda, do you have any additions?
I want an executive session with no action be taken.
So we'll do that at the end with no action. I will add under old business, talk a little bit about the survey we're waiting on the Sucos property.
Okay.
And is that it?
And I'll add a Sucos one as well. I got an email today. I don't know if y'all did as well.
Okay,
I'll explain that.
we'll do that under old business.
That's great. And I have nothing for fire.
Okay. Really? Let's record that one.
I know, right? I
Okay.
always have something to say. I can make something up. I'm just joking.
Have you had a chance to review the minutes from June 26th? Oh, that's tonight. Approval of the meeting minutes.
Trustee Piro moves to accept the minutes presented.
Trustee Varian, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And those are minutes from June 12th. And have you had a chance to look at the treasurer's report?
Fiscal Officer Lowry, you've got some highlights on here. There's something you want to tell us about the treasurer's report?
Yes, thank you, Trustee Varon. The highlighted, let me get my highlighter. I just wanted to point out on the treasury report, the highlighted figures are on the fire fund. If you notice, there's 19,845.53. If you go down to the 2281, the two ambulance funds there, the reason why I'm pointing that out, usually we have double that amount right now. And we will not receive our next half money until like in the end of July through the middle and end of July. So that is very tight. I want to point that out because remember how you let me transfer 30,000, then we put that back.
Mm-hmm.
At the worst case scenario, I might have to ask that again to do our
Yeah.
normal paying bills, but that's really on a bubble. That's unusually low.
Is the 2282? Is that 58,000? Is that
Yeah.
is that the ambulance that hasn't been written yet, or is that not the ambulance?
No, that's just the soft billing.
Okay.
The second, that money's there, but I use a good portion of that, 75% of that 58 for payroll and fire.
Okay. So the 4905,
Yeah.
that 75,000 on the very bottom line, that's what we'll cut for the ambulance.
The ambulance is on when you look at the American Rescue 2273,
Yeah.
the 334,584.
It's coming out of there.
That's where that
Thank
comes
you.
out of.
Thank you. Okay. So 58, 19, and 19. All right.
Yeah.
Trustee Varian moves to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Trustee Piro second.
All in favor?
Aye.
One other thing, trustees, on the treasury report, I
Sorry,
just
Brian.
caught it. It was last meeting, and I'm just want to let you know what it was. You know, on the bottom of every treasurer's report, I always put the zoning numbers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The main treasury report is right, but the treasury receipts were supposed to be 1,515. I had 4,485. So really looked good.
Yeah, it did look good.
And then the
That
zoning,
did look good. I just feel
Yeah.
good about it.
yeah. And
Burst
then
my
the
bubble.
zoning expenses I had as 11,607. It's really 7,733.
Oh, you caught back up then. All right.
Yeah. And what I did is when I was doing that, I always do the treasury report, the very last thing, right before the meeting. I just doubled some things up on the sheets.
But it's right in the big book though, right?
Yeah, it is right in the book. I wanted to point that out because you'll see that when you looked at that treasury report that you did approve, it is lower, considerably lower. And I wanted to show that to you that I did make a mistake on that.
Okay, with that, we are going to move on to, we're going to talk about the ballots. We were putting the two issues back on the ballot for the road and the cemetery. And we need to do those resolutions tonight.
What those are, trustees, is that where there's a three-step process to get it to the Board of Elections. Tonight, I'm asking that those resolutions, and I have already pre-wrote them up. You just have to do the motions and assign the resolution numbers to them to proceed to ballot for the road and proceed to ballot cemetery.
Do you want that verbiage? Okay.
If you want to read them in
Right.
that order, because
So
I have.
Trustee Griffith moves the adoption of the following resolution, 23-195. Do I have to read the whole thing?
No, you can just.
This
go
is
through-
for the road department.
Yes.
I just read the ballot.
Then you go to the second, then I have it, I think I put trustee. Right.
This is to put it on the ballot. The levy, what's the millage that we're asking?
This one is your.
1.05 mils, which will create $149,332 annually. And Trustee Varian is going to second it.
Trustee Varian seconds.
And roll call,
Varian,
Yes.
Griffith,
yes.
Hero.
Yes.
Set down for signature. And just while they're doing this, these are resolutions that we talked about before. We just formally, once we have the written, we have to do this process and sign it. But we've already approved what we were doing before. While they're finishing that, Trustee Griffith will move to create the resolution 23-196, which is for the upkeep of our cemeteries. And we are asking for 0.15 mils, which will create $21,333 annually. This is for a 3-year period of time only. So it is not a continuous. Yeah, it's a term, 3 years.
Do I second?
I don't know if we explained this.
No,
Trustee Pierce, second.
roll call,
Varian,
Yes.
Griffith,
yes.
Hero.
Yes.
Thank you. My next step is now I take that to the Board of Elections and get that on the November 7th. Okay. ballot.
While we're finishing that, I'll make sure everyone knows that at 8 o'clock, we'll be stopping to do the road bid packages. And we did receive 3 bid packages this time for what we put out for bid.
Okay. Thank you.
So, what's that?
I thought the meeting would be over by then. Go ahead.
I won't comment. Okay, let's move on to the fire report, Chief Parker.
Sounds good. So last meeting when I was not here, Captain Nelson was here and he had asked about getting our SCBA bottles hydro tested. So the company came in to hydro them and we had 8 bottles that we were told are too old. They can't test them anymore. So they're out of service. So 8 of our SCBA bottles are out
So
of
now we're 8
service.
bottles short.
We are. So I had a lot of conversation with Captain Adams about what some possibilities are. And you can essentially so bottles have a 15-year lifespan or a 30-year lifespan. Pretty much everything is 15 years. That's what's pretty typical. Ours were 15. The ones that we own have been purchased as a conglomeration from Timken Steel, from Plain Township, from Louisville. We've not bought our own, I don't think as long as I've worked here, but So we were able to find basically some bottles that are 2015, so they're refurbished ones, and they would buy us some time to essentially figure out what we can do. So the proposal was to buy 4 refurbished bottles, and then starting next year, look at buying 2 new bottles a year each year. New ones are approximately $2,000 a piece. And we would look at buying 30-year ones because that would at least buy me till I'm not going to be the one picking them out anymore. So,
And the 30-year compared to the 15er,
It's
it's like it's not much more.
no, it's a couple $100 more. for
Yeah, it's like a
30 year.
15, 1600 and a 30 years, 2000.
Yeah.
So if you're buying a new bottle, it's kind of like, might as well buy the double.
Yes. Yes. So we were able to find 4 bottles that were refurbished from 2015, which would get us to 2030. So that would get back to at least to a good operating place for us. So I guess
How much are those 4 refurbs?
2,700 is what those 4 would be total.
Okay.
And that includes shipping, and we looked into that, and they're in Colorado, because I was gonna volunteer to go get them.
Doesn't
It doesn't feel cost effective.
feel cost effective.
So I know at the beginning we said money's tight, but
Is it the 2,700? Is that
that's
online?
4 refurbished bottles. It
Is
is
that
online.
online purchase or is that something we mail?
Yep.
How's it?
It
It's
is
an online purchase?
Do we know approximately what the shipping is going to be on that?
It is $140 for shipping.
For all 4?
Mhm.
140. So we're at 2840.
No, 2560 was a total. before
Oh,
shipping.
I'm sorry. 27 is total
27
Oh.
is a total.
with shipping. Sorry, I missed that.
And that gets us 4 bottles, so that would get us back to a place where I would say we would be comfortable until we need to start thinking about buying more.
And
Which,
if 8 are out, how many do we have that are still good?
we have 9.
We have 9 good ones.
Mhm.
Okay.
But that's without these 4.
9 currently in the fire station right now. They're checked and
So that'll give us 14 then,
Why would somebody get rid of them?
or 13.
They have a lifespan on them. Oh, because they were probably got a grant for new stuff, would be my guess. The refurbished ones, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
That would be my guess, is they got a grant for new stuff.
So in Chief Parker's mind, is 9 bottles good? Like, oh my gosh, that's not enough, or do we have to get these 4?
We need to do something. I think 4 gets us to a place where I feel more comfortable.
Okay.
So 9 is not enough to continue operating. Like if we had a fire right now, 9 would be okay. Like we would make it work. But the problem is it's just not enough. People like we took them off the squad where we would normally keep one. So if we had a carbon monoxide leak or something, we would have one there. So we pulled those off. We pulled the one so.
Okay.
So these 4 coming in, do they have to then be tested?
They would be hydro tested I believe it's every 2 years.
But when they land, they're ready to go, or do we have to hydro test those $2,700?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Chief Parker, just to make sure I understand, these are used by both, if the squad gets called out or the fire to go in somewhere, either way they would use them, because why I'm asking that is that I could pull some of those funds from the South building.
I mean, we would in theory use them. We were keeping 2 on each squad, and that would be okay. So we get calls for a carbon monoxide call. We
Right.
get there, our carbon monoxide
Right.
detector says, "Oh yeah, don't go in there." So we're gonna put an air pack on to go into that house to ventilate, to bring people out, to whatever.
What's the name of that company?
This is through it's SCBA sales.
I
So,
missed it, Randy was sneezing.
SCBA sales. So have to-
SCBA.
yeah, that's what the bottles are. SCBA bottles.
So best case scenario, there's 2 full ready to go bottles in both squads.
Mhm.
Is there one in the grass truck, or does
No.
nothing
We
nothing
don't
rides in
have
the
one in
grass
the
truck?
grass truck.
Does something ride in the tanker?
Mhm.
You got some in there,
We
and then
normally would have 2 in the tanker. We
and then-
normally have two packs and 2 bottles.
and the engine
4.
carries the rest because that's when you're out for fun.
Yeah, it
Okay.
carries the spares, it carries 5 packs.
Okay.
Trustee Griffith motions that we purchase the 4 refurbished at $2,700 from SCBA sales.
Trustee Pure seconds.
All in favor?
That sounds pretty important. All right.
Aye. What do we do with the 8 bottles that are now no good and taking up space?
Yeah,
in
I
our
gotta see
department?
if they will, if either the company will do something with them. I don't know if they're good for parts, like if they would buy them to use
Okay.
valves or something off them. I can 100% find out.
Okay, just so they're not sitting around in the way. Okay.
Yeah.
Do
So,
we need to know where we're gonna take that from, Brian, or are you gonna figure that out?
I got it.
All right, thank you. Okay,
so I don't have anything else other than this to me, this was an oversight on our part. Captain Nelson came to me and said, hey, we should have noticed that these were expired. I would like to work on, between the fiscal officer and maybe Trustee Barron and I, looking at like PMs, like what do we do every year? So it's not like, hey, crud, we gotta buy this. Like we have gone through, the captains and the assistant chief and I have gone through, like written everything down that we know needs PMs every year, what should be replaced at what time. So I would kind of like to just make up a schedule of like,
Yeah.
so this
we
doesn't,
need,
I can
happen.
give you reports very easy.
okay,
on what
That would
is
be great.
purchased as the
Yeah.
maintenance.
let's
And
get
That's
some,
how I write the
Yeah.
budget.
let's do some
I use
expense reports for the fire. And if we
Yeah.
can get them for the last couple of years, that'd be great. And then let's do a good old grandma's grocery budget. Like, let's write down what we
sounds
spend
reasonable. Let's look
every
at what,
year. I
because
love
there's
that.
stuff we know every year is gonna get, and if
Right.
we can look at, say, we buy 2 bottles every year, or whatever the case may be, 2 sets a year, 2 bottles, then we're not.
Well, and something else that I think, and not that it necessarily needs to be on every document, but if we, when we see the report, if we have a rundown of like, hey, every February we do this, and every March we do this,
Yeah.
and we leave that on this sheet, and we're
Yeah.
sitting in this meeting like, hey, guess what's coming? At
Yeah.
least we know.
Yeah, and that would be my.
Yeah, Mr.
So
Fisher,
that's
I would
fine.
love to have that when you
Yeah.
get a chance. I know you're super busy.
I can get it.
Yeah.
I could actually
All right.
pull some of that up while I'm sitting here looking at, because
Yeah.
that's how I write the budget here in 1 month. I gotta write the next year's budget.
Okay.
And that's why I always put so much to training, so much for equipment, turnout gear, stuff like that. That's the way I do it.
How many bottles do you like to have total?
What's the total number?
What we had before this was 19.
Yeah, I would think we'd need to keep at least 18 eventually on.
Yeah.
One other thing I would suggest that we do is not only schedule those activities or those, but also the checks periodically on like dates and things like that.
Yeah, so that was the other thing we did, was we wrote
Oh, yeah,
dates down
expiration dates on stuff,
on
right.
everything. So
So, yeah.
manufacturer date,
Yeah.
we went through and did all of that.
It might not be changed, but we need to make sure that the dates go on. Yeah.
Right, so do we know the rest of those air packs are good for at least 2
We
years?
do. A large quantity of them were from 2019, ones we bought
We
from
pulled a
Tiffany.
bunch of them off the units.
So
and checked
this
them.
will get us.
Well, I was thinking if you're gonna buy 30s, between now and next year, if you could find some more, like another round of these 27, and then buy 1 a year, so you didn't go,
Sure.
because I bet if you buy 2 a year, you're gonna get a large gap in there at some point.
Mhm. Yeah,
That'll kind of spread you out
yeah,
Okay,
to
Yeah.
where you're more consistent.
cool.
yeah.
And
Great.
were these expired or was it just that the hookups to them were?
No, the bottles are.
The
are
bottles
out of
were
date.
expired.
Okay, they hit their expiration date.
All right, Chief, before you run calls, we need approval to pay for the ambulance to Liberty Ford. Do you need just a motion for that, fiscal officer?
Yeah, you can do a motion. You already approved the purchase orders.
But
and
this is
funds
the
will be
actual
there.
amount.
This is the actual amount.
All right, Trustee Varian moves to pay Liberty Ford $56,606 for the purchase of the ambulance chassis. This is only the chassis. It's being built now. They're putting a box on it, and that will be a different motion.
Trustee Pure seconds.
All in favor? All right.
All right, Chief, you want to run your calls?
Like you're taking me out.
No, I mean, you
Oh.
run your calls. Run your calls.
I thought you
No, you don't have to leave.
Run calls, and I
I
was
mean,
like,
if
oh my
if the radio
goodness.
didn't ding, you don't have to leave. You can
You
stay.
should have seen the range. So 32 calls,
Okay.
2 fire calls. And then I had another conversation with Kansas City. So they do now own a vehicle that can, but they don't have a trailer yet. So one step in the right direction. But they do not own a vehicle that can go on burger, because anytime you see assist to Canton City on here,
It's
it
always
is
burger.
100%.
So they've got a UTV that they can climb up in there with a water
Yep.
tanker. Okay.
Well, they're getting there. They have the ATV.
Water
There's no
balloons.
water on it yet, and
Got
there's no trailer. They have the ATV.
All
So
right.
I did have another conversation with them.
Okay.
I'm sure they're not just in there riding around.
No, they mainly got it for the Hall of Fame. That's what they said.
I see where the
I thought there was
priority
something
is.
Yep.
Not the burning tire pile of tires. No? Oh, okay. Just check.
Okay.
I have one. That's good. Yeah.
Remind me again of who MVJFD is.
Mohawk Valley.
Thank you, Mohawk. Thank you.
Amy, the name of the company, the ESO, I prepared
Yeah.
documents tonight.
Okay.
I know trustees, I prepared that document. It's for, help me out.
For our fire reporting, it's how we report our fire reports to the state. So it's all of our reports we do in ESO. Our EMS side is covered by Cleveland Clinic. When we enter that medical control contract with them, they pay for the EMS side. We are still responsible for the fire side of that reporting system.
And I prepared that tonight, trustees, in your checks there. It's $1,333. I think it was even in dollar amount there. That's an annual thing, but it was something that came through and there's a deadline. They got to have it by the end of this upcoming month.
So do you need a motion for that?
Yes.
Mr.
If
Barry,
you
you want to do
see
that?
the check there, it'll say, it should be the first check on that pile that I prepared.
The ESO Solutions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Trustee Varian moves to pay ESO Solutions, Inc. the amount of $1,333.85.
Trustee Puro seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, let's do a quick cemetery report. Do you have anything?
I do not have anything.
No. That's nice and quick.
That was it.
Not
That's a great
everybody,
report. Moving on.
Woo! Nobody's new to this. Okay, with that, we have about 30 seconds till we click to 8 o'clock. So if you want to pull out your bid packs that you have laying there,
Trustees, I tried to put them in order.
well, that's great. I already mixed mine up.
Okay. I had the 2020 received from 2020 Enterprises.
Okay.
I received from Russell Standard. And I received from the, let me make sure I say the right name, Geauga Highway. Okay.
Highway and a highway.
I do want to tell on myself, on the bid package I prepared, Fair Hill, you'll see 2 Fair Hills on there when you look at the bid package. You'll see on the bid package, one says 1.69 and one says 0.25. That one that's 1.69 is incorrect. It should have been 1.27.
There's
But everybody bid on the 1.69 on the original
there's
bid.
big discrepancies on this,
On Geaugas,
joggers.
yeah.
The
And if you see I put some footnotes off the Geaugas.
tonnage is way wrong.
Yes, just to let you know.
Go back to Fairhill again. So what are you saying? I see Fairhill.
See that one,
0.25.
flip the page, see that one? That should be
1.69.
1.27, that should be 1.27.
Okay, so it's gonna be under a little
Yeah.
bit.
What I
So
did,
why do we have 2 Fairhills?
2 sections of it.
Sections,
Okay,
Stu went to-
separated, okay,
east side and west side
okay.
of Indian Run.
And that was my error, but everybody bid based on that. If you see their bid package when they come in. I know, like Trustee Varian pointed out, the Geauga Highway had some big discrepancies.
Mr. Perry did.
Yeah, I would be very leery of joggers.
So tell me what the new number for the second Fairhill is, 1 point what?
27.
Yeah, it seems too low, isn't it?
Okay. Because we have a disclaimer on here that we can reduce roads, correct?
You can.
Okay, so we can correct that number with whoever.
I know, I did some basic math along with, I talked to one of those vendors. I reached out to the other one just to let them know that I did make that error. You're looking at about $8,500 to $9,000 lower than what
Okay.
you're looking at when you make that discrepancies.
So
Well, I can tell you one thing.
let's just go through them one by one.
Well, I was just gonna, I'm not comparing joggers because those are way wrong, but if you go, I go through every road, 2020s is $1,100 higher, but he's using way more oil and way more stone on every road.
Okay, so 2020 is the first one on the list. And the total bid
But
with the incorrect mileage that we stated is 250,111.86. So we'll just compare them all with what's on the paper, knowing that it is gonna go down a little bit.
okay,
Well, I'm just saying for the $1,100, you're getting there's a lot more
Right.
tonnage, there's a lot more product.
And Trustee
Okay, but I
Varner
have to announce
spotted that.
all three bids.
Yeah, I know.
Right, He
understand.
spotted that because that's what I noticed, you know, I know consistently with 2020 in the past, they do a good job at that. We've used them many times, but
fiscal officer
you
Larry,
know, that,
just for my own clarity on this, who did it last year?
2020,
No.
Okay. And who did it the year before?
2020.
Okay,
All right, so we're gonna move on to the second bid,
all right.
and it is Russell Standard out of Marietta. And they bid 249,031.42,
That's
which is
very close.
very close
That is
to,
very close.
it looks like about $1,000 difference between 2020 and Russell Standard.
Yeah.
And then we will announce that Geauga Highway Company out of Hiram, Ohio did turn in a bid, but on quite a few of the streets, Argyle Street, Baker Street, Mapleton Street, they have the wrong tonnage, it looks like. Looks like one dump truck load only for the whole street, which we know that's not possible because it's almost 2 miles.
Right.
So something's wrong there. But their total bid for that was 166,817.80. So they somehow messed up on their math here.
Yeah, so it's close to $80,000 under.
And it's less, but the number of tonnage that they're
Right.
saying they're gonna put down is not gonna be satisfactory for what we need for that distance of road.
Okay.
So I guess with that, are we in agreement that we won't consider this one? Because it doesn't have enough stone on it.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so Geauga Highway is out.
Okay.
So now we're to the Russell Standard and 2020. Art is here from 2020. Do you have anything you want to tell us, Art? Want to say anything?
No, other than the fact that, as Randy pointed out, we have more liquid and more stone, which is pretty comfortable with. That's what you need to maintain your road quality.
Hmm.
I don't know what the quantity difference is, but if it's that noticeable,
The quantity because of the stone.
Oil and.
Oil and-
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Geauga one, which we, okay, because that's off by hundreds and hundreds.
right, they just must have made a mathematical.
It is a mathematical error on 3 different roads.
Well, and then there's more than that errors in there. I was very, very.
But enough that we can't consider it.
Right.
Fiscal officer Larry, what is budgeted for this project?
when I did my projections, when we wrote up the bid package, I had it at 235,000.
Okay.
Okay, but I also let you all know that we had a cushion there because, you know, if you go back to that treasurer's report at year end, we had 17,000 in the 20 fund that we take that out of,
Okay.
2141. And that allows us, once we pay the village, their 2 payments, an additional about $13,000. So that 235 that I projected out
We'll be close to the 250 mark.
will be close to 245 to
Okay.
246.
All right.
I thought we were talking about removing one of these streets.
I don't think
If
we
you
need,
have
I don't
enough
think we
money.
need to make that decision yet.
But which one was it that we were talking about?
Hedgerows.
Hedgerows?
Hedgerows, that's what we're talking about.
I mean, we may end up having to do that,
Okay.
but I don't think we're at that
Were you
point.
thinking
I just wanted to
the
see
whole
how
thing?
much
If we
difference
delete it,
we
delete
had
the
here.
whole.
We can do the whole thing.
Yeah, we can. Okay.
How does that, are we gonna try to trim any of those trees on any of those streets?
We will on Westfall a little bit and
Do we know what
maybe a
that's
few
gonna
on
cost us?
Argyle, the lowest hanging ones.
I mean, are we gonna try to use a company to do that?
Oh,
Okay,
no, not what I'm talking about. We'll just go in there and try to get the worst stuff that
Okay,
I see hanging down really low and get it out of there
okay.
quick.
I know Trustee Griffith, you talked about the tree trimming. We only received that one quote from
From the,
Dan Bevington from Tree Works. And I didn't print it out. I'm just looking here.
Did the local guy?
Here's what it says, and Stu can probably, I'm not to put you on the spot, Stu, but Westfall, roughly 2 miles, they quoted out at $18,750. Fairhill, roughly 1.35 miles, was $12,750. Mapleton Street, 1.5 miles was $13,750. And they had a quote on taking down that tree on there, but, you know, they at least prepared something for us to look at, but we're kind of waiting on see if anybody else would come in, because I think All Around Property had mentioned they wanted to come in, but
They've never signed.
we talked to them and nothing.
Bevington isn't the one that was over by East Palestine.
Yeah,
Oh, that is
there
Bevington.
is a guy, his name is.
They're both Bellin.
Yeah, they're both.
Oh,
Bevington.
Oh, you threw me off.
That's why I
Okay.
wanted
Yeah.
The Bevington you just read was the guy that was
For
further
East
away.
Palestine.
That's Tree Works.
That's Tree Works. He's the
Oh,
guy that was in
that's
front
You
of
said
you.
Bevington, that's the local kid.
Dan
Okay.
Bevington's from East Palestine.
All right.
Yeah,
Rich Bevington's from right here on Tremont.
just so happens
So-
both your guys that were here.
So Rich and Ryan have not turned anything in yet.
No,
And have we talked to them?
I have mentioned it to them and they still haven't said
Okay.
I think in the matter of the affairs waiting on the levy, we should table it for a year. That's a pretty significant cost.
That is. Now, are they gonna come in half of that? And that's still a significant cost if we're doing $5,000 to $6,000 a road. That would be half of what that is. And we'll have $20,000 of tree removal on 4 roads.
Right.
That's
So
a
the
lot.
question was, because a lot of those roads are on here, and how does that
Yeah.
affect
Yeah,
the quality of doing that road if it's not gonna get the sun to it and stuff?
You mean like sun hitting it and
Yeah.
stuff?
it. Yeah, it makes a big difference if you can get them opened up.
well, it ain't gonna matter as far as resurfacing it. It's a matter of, in the wintertime, it'll fall out faster. But them guys were all bonded and certified that they could come in even if the road's done and do it next year. I mean, it doesn't have to be done before they come in.
Right.
Fiscal officer, Larry, the 2 that are in front of us, everything was turned in on time and everything that you
Yes.
needed was turned in.
Yes,
Okay.
everything was turned in on time.
Okay, great.
It all came in on Friday, but. it
That's
was
fine. That's on time. That's on time. That's good. Okay.
Well, I
I'm ready to make a decision.
would just suggest that we know 2020 and they've done a good job and the bids are so close.
I agree.
I would be in favor of
Let's go with what we
Trustee
know.
Puro moves to accept 2020's bid.
Trustee Varian second.
Roll call.
Varian,
Yes.
Piru,
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes. Do you need anything signed, Brian?
What I'd like to do is that bid, when you accept it, if you're accepting like it is or the modification of it,
Mhm.
because that one road is lower. I know that, Art, I don't know if you would happen to have a number. I did a projection around 240, I gotta put it on
I
my,
think it was like $9,200.
yeah,
241, 651.
yeah.
Okay.
If you want to use that dollar amount as part of it, that
I
way I
think we can
can,
just leave it where it's at, saying not to exceed that, because we said we could reduce the mileage in here.
well, that's what I was saying, not to exceed 240, say 242 or something like that. 242, what did I got? 241, not to exceed 242. Being Art sitting there asking if that would be okay, if I could use that number or not.
I think that should be good, because I measured all those roads, and what was on the bid packet was, we'll cover them. In years past, we've come under the estimate anyway, because I measured that. I mean, so,
Yeah.
because you don't want no surprises.
The only thing.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, but net, those the many years you've kind of, and I.
Come in low, which we appreciate.
So you're gonna finish that,
Not to exceed 242,000.
with the reduction of the road on,
You want that on the same motion or a new motion, Brian?
No, you can do it on.
Okay.
Not to,
Just make it not to exceed.
not to exceed 242,000 and with the reduction on burial.
Okay. Trustee Varian second.
The last question I would have is, what was the unit pricing for Russell Standard then, per gallon and per ton?
73 on stone and 253 on the oil, or, yeah.
Yeah, 253 on oil.
They must have been way under on.
Oh, some of
They
it's,
were.
some of it's quite a bit, you know.
Like
I
it
mean,
was
not-
hundreds.
Yeah, 'cause aren't those? That's interesting.
On Geauga, they were,
Jog is-
Well, you put it on thick for us, thank you.
it was supposed to be like 220 ton and they did 22 ton on one of them. Well, they did that like on three of them. It's like they were missing their third digit.
I was referring to Russell Standard.
Yeah, he was in front of us.
No, Russell, that's what Russell.
Yeah, that's what we
Standard
just
was.
gave you. That's what we just gave you.
Yeah.
73.
Two,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at
73
73
and
a ton on
253.
stone.
yeah, 73 ton. Okay.
Trustees, can I ask a question? Being Art's here, can I ask your quote that you gave us on the fire station? I have it here. I didn't know, just so we know, you're planning on, I mean, I budgeted for that, to do that project.
We've already approved that, haven't we?
We have approved it, but I just want to check with Art because you didn't know if you're gonna be awarded it. I was hoping that might go that way, but
Okay,
that was contingent on him being awarded.
okay.
Yeah, that should still be good then.
Okay,
And that's another thing that I'm not real familiar with what that number is.
it's 31,570. You had,
That's probably a not to exceed number also.
You did that,
yeah,
you did
We're
that
still
last
kind of in a
fall.
modification of what needs to be done there when we get there, but I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, Stu, but that was pretty much worst case scenario or
Right.
That was
an
it.
overall scenario.
Right.
That was,
Should be close, but it
Okay.
won't be excessive of that. so.
it was 2,400 gallons and then you had 65 ton of number eights is what's on the original.
Brian, did we have a timeline on that motion or anything, or did we wait and just took
No,
when
this
it-
was,
when we
this,
can get
That
to it?
one's done.
this one was done, but I shouldn't say it was done. I put the money in there
Yeah,
when you guys were talking about it because we wanted to make sure, because
We
we
had
started to do that motion when we had
So
soil
maybe we
waste
should
and all.
approve 2020 as the
I think we
contract. We can
should,
do
just to
that.
make it official.
okay, what are the numbers on that, Brian?
Here.
Trustee Varian moves, is this the entire fire station lot or the back?
Let's go with
Whole thing.
The whole thing, okay. Trustee Varian moves to pay 2020 Enterprises, Inc., the sum, not to exceed $31,570 to chip and seal, correct?
Yes.
Chip and seal the entirety of the fire station lot.
Trustee Cruz seconds.
Roll call,
Varian,
Yes,
Griffiths,
yes.
Hero.
Yes.
great.
And I asked her, there was something in there, you know, when we went and did that, talking about the fire station, it just dawned on me, normally when we used to do the fire station, we did the side road going out to Wood Street.
Oh, the little access road there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I never thought about that.
That'll probably be absorbed in that, either in that or the road program.
You think you can, you think you can help us get that done?
I mean, why not? It needs done.
Well, maybe let's
Yeah.
talk, as he's out here working, let's see what we have in it.
It's one quick pass. I mean, that's not that wide.
It isn't that wide.
I started, I just,
Okay. No, that's good to bring,
Thought about that.
Stu, that's good to bring that up, because we might have missed
I
that.
hate to let it go and start really breaking up.
You do that side road, then obviously go down to the front, I think, and.
Yeah, down
If I
to,
remember correctly, there's.
down to
something out
church.
Front that we don't do.
Front and back. There's like-
Yeah, where there's
Yeah,
not
out
that,
front and back.
yeah.
Yeah, Church Street there. Great.
Okay,
All right.
so with that, now that we've completed our bid package part, we are in public speaks. And I know we've asked you questions. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I just want to go now, but I will tell you, we're happy to work here. I think the roads that you have here are some of the best that we work on in the state. I think that's something for Osnaburg to be proud of and something for 2020 to take pride in working on. So
We do hear that down when I'm at the state convention. They do make comments that we have some of the best roads up here. We hope to keep it that way, but we're starting to run tight on funding and we need to repair some vehicles. So that's why we have that small levy that we've been trying to put on the ballot. So we can keep our roads looking good. But thank you for
I
that.
appreciate you coming.
Yeah,
all right.
thank you very much.
Thanks, Lord.
All right, with that, we're gonna move to the road report. Mr. Umpher.
Oh, Stu.
All right, the trustees have read over the road report. Is there any questions about that?
What's the new site driveway on Hine? Is that a house or what's the new driveway for?
On Hine, yes, a new house
Okay,
supposed to be possibly built out there.
Okay.
what do you mean possibly?
Well, they're talking about building a new house.
Okay, well, would we, oh, they didn't put the driveway in yet.
No,
Okay,
they had two different spots there that they were thinking about doing it.
okay, so you just,
And I went out and looked at it. So. It's right across from Mr. Shadle's house.
okay, on that
Rock
side.
Carlisle's old first house that
Okay,
showed that big hayfield across from it.
Mhm. Nothing's broken right now?
I don't want to answer that.
Not gonna. There you go. I don't want to answer.
We did have a little hiccup today with Russell Standard. Brian went up and got another load, came back, and when Mike went out, got out there, and there was something wasn't right. So I drove out there quick and looked at it. And I called Doug up at Russell Standard. I said, hey, I says, I just ran the machine. I said, this stuff, as soon as it hits the ground, I said, it dries. I said, I put my finger down in front of the hose and put it on my finger. And I said, as soon as you rub your fingers together, it's dry. It's not even tacky. He goes, they messed up. He said, they give you dry tack. There's tack out there. It actually dries right now so people can drive across it
Right
without
away.
ripping it up with their tires.
Yep.
Then when the blacktops put down on it,
Then it
200-300
covers it.
degrees, it
so what'd you do?
got to take it back up tomorrow morning. They'll suck it back out and give us the
Oh, they'll
RS2,
suck
the
it
right
back out
stuff.
for you.
Oh,
Yep. So,
now you know how that works.
yeah.
Okay.
Everything is running right now,
Great.
so.
Perfect.
And the gray limestone, for the dirt patcher
Mhm.
seems to be working
Great,
out good.
great.
I mean, we're still trying to mix a little bit of the white nines, the white limestone in with it to help dry it up, but it's really
So it's going through the
flowing
machine
nice and
okay?
it looks
Good,
good and
good. And it's cheaper.
straighter.
Good. We like.
So I have
As
here,
of July 1st, by the way, National Aggregates, all their prices going up
Oh, boy.
as of
Jeez.
next week.
Already expensive.
so if you think we're gonna need something, you need to get it before July 1st.
Well, that's for National Aggregate. They sent a letter out personally.
Yeah.
That's not everybody.
Yeah.
No, I meant at National, do not.
I don't go in there much.
I thought we had a
most of
letter
our,
recently.
Crushed limestone or anything like that, crushed concrete and all that stuff. I've been going to Diana's and getting different stuff, a lot cheaper.
Well, some of the,
Closer.
I can't remember who it was, sent a letter and said our prices are gonna fluctuate. Basically, you're gonna have to check each time.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
Okay, I have a resignation letter here from Brian Garrett. He's decided to resign from his position as road crew assistant at Osnaburg Township. His last day will be July 7th. I appreciate the opportunity I have had to work with you and the rest of the team here at Osnaburg Township. This doesn't have a date on it. Do you know when it came in?
Today.
He brought it
Smart.
in today.
Okay.
So it's 6/26.
Yes.
Okay.
So can I have a motion to accept that resignation?
Trustee Peer moves to accept Brian Garrett's resignation.
Trustee Varian, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anything else for roads?
What is our plan for the,
We're gonna do, or I'll go and address this in an executive.
oh, okay, we're gonna handle that later. All right.
In my regular executive session.
And my regular executives.
Okay, with that, let's move on to zoning. Zoning inspector, Rocker.
Since last meeting, there was 3 permits issued, 2 for additions, 1 for an ag exemption. Over on the nuisance side, I sent all of the ones listed here a letter today because I got tied up the last couple weeks. So they all got their letters sent out today. Over on the Ravenna for high grass, that was the one that they think the neighbor might have passed away and might be tied up in court or new people moving in. I did see somebody there today, so hopefully once they get that, they'll get it mowed. Over on Broadway, that's the one with all the junk vehicles and everything. I talked to the health department. They were out last week. There's 4 tires that aren't on rims that they can do something about. They checked batteries, they weren't leaking, so there's not a whole lot they can do there, but they'll be back out to check it again. As far as the vehicles there, they don't look the best, but they still don't meet the junk requirement.
They have the 4
that I
requirements,
see.
yeah.
But I sent him a letter just to kind of like, hey, help clean it up a little bit, which is what the health department told them as well.
Okay,
And then the Ravenna one, I sent that letter and hopefully they get it and get the paperwork into me and get it cleared off.
did you get an answer back from the prosecutor's office on the language that you had sent up to them?
Not quite yet.
Okay,
She was finishing looking it over.
okay, but we should have it by the 17th of July. Perfect. Okay. That's a nice, easy report.
Yeah, good enough.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on, and we're at Old Township business. Fiscal officer to give an update on American Rescue.
I always hate to give you bad news, but I do have some good news about it.
Okay.
American Rescue. This is the money that we were given back 2 years ago, or at the end of 2021, the 419,000. Then we had all of 22 to figure out how we're going to spend it. We then went into 23 with locking things in, such as premium pays, the ambulance, the road equipment, truck, and all the decisions were made. But with that being said, I had to meet deadlines on all these reporting. And when I went through these reporting, the way that our federal government works is different than the state and everything. You had to go through all these different apps, login.gov. You had to get that updated. And because we changed emails, that was a process. I know Amy had to go struggle through that process with fire. It wasn't something you could just fix it in 15 minutes and fix it. It took months. Well, I had my login.gov, then I could go on what's called the federal service. That took another 2 months. Keep in mind, my deadline for the American Rescue was coming up in April, and I had started this actually at the end of last year. So till I got the federal service desk updated, then I had to go in and update SAMS.gov because that's all tied to all the monies being issued from the federal government. That took probably a month. Well, then I tried to get on the federal treasurer website, And they didn't recognize any of this stuff. And I talked to all these people periodically throughout all this time. And I said, there has to be some easy way to get to do this. But you have to work through the process. And I'm glad to say last Wednesday, I got on there and I can actually now file our American Rescue report that was due April 30th.
Okay.
So I'm a couple months out on it, but that will take from March 30th of 23 back to a year ago. And that's what all you all have done with the money there. Premium pay.
Is it a forgiven process? Like, then you still need
Well,
to forgive it? Is that
This
how
is
that
what
works?
happens. I'm verbally talking, I'm writing notes down to the people I talk to. And they say, well, they won't say everybody had problems, but
everybody had
I'm
problems.
not the only one that had this problem.
Right.
And they said, just fill it out as soon as possible.
Okay.
But the report that I'll be filling out is only from last year in April to this year in April. So moving forward, I'll have to do another report this time next year.
Okay.
And I hope I don't have to.
So you're
go
only
through
one report behind.
one report, but to me, that's bad to have to go through all these, because I was warned by a couple of them that this could happen to us again. And
You're not the only guy that's trying to
Yeah.
get it done.
I just want to let you know,
Yeah.
it's been a struggle, but I've worked through it. I've had help from Sue in the office. She just shakes her head a lot of times, all the stuff that she sees, the frustration and things to spend money.
Right.
Because you're not allowed to just spend it any way you want to. So
Right.
I'm through that, and I just want to update you. I'm caught up to the point. Next time, I'm hoping to report that I have it filed. I do not have it filed yet, but I
right.
can get on there to file it.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, so I have not heard back from Joe, it's Bodo, I believe,
That's the
the surveyor
at Sucos.
for the Sucos property. I texted him on March 11th and said, did you receive your formal notice that we're moving forward with the survey with you?
Mhm.
He didn't respond. And then I texted him again on May 23rd and said, are we still on schedule? Because he indicated they'd do it here in June. Didn't hear from him. And then I did text him again today, but I don't know if any of you know him also.
What's his last name? Milano?
It's Milano's brother.
Yeah, I know him.
Joe.
Joe Milano.
Yeah, but he works for Bodo Surveying, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, if you know him, give him a call because he's not responding to what he gave me in the beginning phone number. So I don't know if his number changed. They had indicated it would be done in June. And if they're running fine behind, that's fine, but let us know.
Yeah. I forwarded this email to everyone. This was a email I got, and maybe you all got it too. It says Osnaburg Township Trustee, or Osnaburg Township selected for priority funding for Ohio Community Wellness Program. And the lady's name is Leah. She said that there's funding out there, there's a grant opportunity. And it says the way it works is it's organizations bring local wellness campaign by building public and private partnerships to help fund, design, and activate outdoor gyms called fitness courts. The program is now active in over 400 communities and promotes free and equitable fitness opportunities for adults of all ages and ability levels. And it goes on to talk about the grant. So there's a phone number here. So I'm going to call this week and get a little more details, but looks like it's grant money for park type fitness programs and outdoor spaces.
Where is she from? It looks like it's a company.
Partnership development management manager of. I'll have to ask her. I don't think it's. They're call me directly. Let's see here.
So when I'm looking at her email, the .com tells me it's probably a business.
Could be.
Yeah, but it'd be good to get the information.
We're
from
seeking
her.
applicants who make wellness a priority in their community. And it says, do you have 30 minutes the next 10 days? Like they pitch, of course. There's
Right.
probably funding out there and they want to take a cut, of it. But it's interesting. 2024
Well, but they may
healthy.
have a service that we're interested in.
It's 2024 Healthy City Campaign invitation to Osnaburg Township. So it might not be anything, but I will call and check.
Yeah.
See if it's
Yeah,
something.
definitely call.
So I think it fits Sucos if there's funds there.
And I've had some inquiries of how soon we will have some of that open. And I said, well, the first thing you're gonna see is a parking lot, but we're waiting on a survey, so people are interested in us moving that forward. And I wanna make sure that we're meeting the requirements of getting a sign, but it's kind of hard to get a sign unless we have a road in and a parking lot. Unless, I guess we could put a sign.
It's coming soon.
8.5 by 11 or something.
A little still.
I don't know, Brian. I guess when you talk to him again, ask him.
I talk to him all the time,
Yeah.
Phil, but I mean, it's, he hasn't really said much. He said, I know you guys are working on it. So he said, I said, I know we are, but I said, it never moves fast as
No,
well,
I
I
know.
want to see it.
Right.
But just let him know we're waiting on the survey.
Okay,
And if we need to put the sign up sooner, we can do that.
okay.
I just want to make sure we don't miss that deadline of getting that sign up. Okay, with that, do we have any new township business? Okay, then I think that Mr. Piro has something to say.
Trustee Pugh, you want to do the motion to pay bills first? So we don't have to do that after.
Yeah, we can do that now.
Trustee Pugh moves to pay bills.
Trustee Barry, second.
All in favor?
Aye. Trustee Pugh moves to go into executive session for personal matters. This refers to the appointment, employment, demotion, or compensation for public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual.
Trustee Barry, second.
It'll be a roll call, but before we get to that, I will again say that we will not be doing any business when we come out.
Mhm.
We will be adjourning, and thank everyone for attending. So roll
Thank you for
call.
being here.
Varian.
Yeah.
Piru.
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes, at 8:34. So thank you all for being here, and you're free to go. You're free.
Thank you.